What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming. Time for some more StarCraft 2 commentary. Today's series is going to be between EG's IdrA and Root's Kitty. Now, spawning in the lower left-hand position, we have got Kitty as our red Terran player, and then over here in the upper right, EG's IdrA as the green Zerg player. This is going to be another Terran versus Zerg, Kitty versus IdrA. I'm pretty excited about this game. We're in the map Crossfire. As you can see here, got those two Naga towers straight in the center of the map. I'm sure you guys are relatively knowledgeable of this particular map, but I'll just show you quickly, just in case you aren't. Natural expansion right out front of the main. Center of the map does contain those two towers, as well as kind of a lot of paths for you to go about. There's that one high ground over there. There's this one over here. That also leads into another expansion down in the lower right position. In addition to that, we've got expansions on either side in the center. Two of them, in fact. One high yield, one regular. And the same thing will be mirrored over here. And then, of course, that expansion in the corner. And then the natural expansion. So there you go. Quick little run through of the map. Also, a whole bunch of conversation here between Kitty and IdrA. And, yeah, there you go. Pretty interesting. At least they seem to be chummy, which is good, I suppose. It's better than Rage. Beats the heck out of Rage. Kitty starting off with a pretty standard 10 depot, 12 racks. Let's keep an eye out to see if that 13 refinery gets dropped or not. And back over here for IdrA, still nothing quite as of yet. It will be dropping down that extractor, so it looks like he'll be starting off with some one-base play. And yes, there, in fact, is that refinery. So Kitty going pretty standard opener here. Nothing too unorthodox for him. And there's that pool as well right after. So IdrA will be going for those very quick speedlings here on this particular map, making sure he's getting those out nice and early. And again, these guys are still talking, man. Get your head in the game. Just kidding. I'm sure they're more than fine to be able to carry out the conversation in the early game where the, there's only so much to do. Not a whole lot going on, and neither player's cheesing or anything crazy like that. So there you go. Kitty now moving out with his SCV scout. He does have his first Marine coming out, and will that be rally? No, that's going to be staying at home. He's not going to be applying any early pressure with this. So just moving out with that generic scout, and that is it. We do have that first Overlord making his way across the map. He should be able to make it in the corner before that Marine's going to be able to push out there. Although he really could have moved out, but honestly, what would he have done? Hit him here just as the Overlord was making his way over to this area, and then at that point, there's really not much that he could do. I guess he could try to harass if he put a Marine right here and another one right here, but I think that those would be out of range if the Overlord kind of stuck himself right there in one position. Anyways, it's enough of that. First Marine is pulling forward to try to stop any drone scouting. Now, the SCV scout has spotted that one base opening. We'll be moving down and checking that hatchery as well. We're going to have that attempted drone scout move through with a little bit of Marine micro, though. Able to stop it. Doesn't really matter. Full wall-ups there anyways. He gets taken out. Drone at least gets to spot the fact that there's no attachment on that rack, so no early game Reaper or anything crazy like that. Again, getting any sort of scouting information is going to be a good idea. SCV desperately trying to make its way away from these Zerglings. I don't know if he's going to stand much of a chance, though. There you go. See you later, SCV. Metabolic boost now started. All guys off the gas. IdrA going straight to mineral gathering here, and that is it. We got a secondary SCV scout pushing across this. He's going to be trying to move in for some secondary scouting. You can see right now, again, with all those paths, there's so many directions that you got to watch on this map. Even grabbing the tower is not going to give you just as much vision as you would like, and he's just scooting himself right on by. And the Zerglings also pulling forward. Again, trying to get some scouting information, canceling off the attachment. We got an expansion coming out, and he has decided to go for Tech Lab there instead of Reactor. SCV Scout now moving forward. He has spotted that expansion is just about finished. We're continuing on up, and he wants to see if there's any early Banelings or Roachworn or anything like that, so he's pulling right along the backside. That's exactly what he wants to do. But nothing to really see here. There is no other tech other than that spawning pool at the moment. Researching that metabolic boost. SCV trying to make its way back home, but the speedling research is just about finished. And once that happens, see you later, SCV. And there you go. SCV gets dropped. Map control right now going to IdrA as he does have this one tower. We'll be able to grab that second tower if he deems it necessary. Overlord pulling forward. Two Marines on the ready, though. I wonder if that Overlord's going to go far enough to spot that expansion. You can see right now, his position will allow him to see when mining starts over here. So he doesn't even need to see the expansion in that position. And also these two Marines, he can just barely catch the edge of that. A couple speedlings pulling forward. Again, checking for attachments. As we can see, there's nothing. We will be seeing Blue Flame Hellion opening here from Kitty. Also will be working his way into two additional racks after the fact. And let's take a look at what IdrA's got going on. Layers finally coming on through. He has managed to drop another extractor. Got a third one coming out over here at his expansion. He's probably making that transition into Mutas. That's going to be the assumption right now that we'll be seeing Speedling, Baneling, Muta. And we're going to be moving down now with the expansion, also pushing out with those Hellions, roasting a few Zerglings. And once that Blue Flame finishes, we will probably be seeing a push and then following it up with some Siege Tanks. So we'll just be pushing out with 3 Hellions, and they do have that Infernal Pre-Igniter upgrade. That's forcing the creation right now of 10 Zerglings, spotting those multiple Hellions. IdrA wants to make sure he's adequately defended. And with a couple Queens and a Spinecrawler, that should be enough. But here come the Blue Flame Hellions pushing in the back, getting a drone kill. But again, the Queens are forcing them back right now. So far, only 2 workers killed by either player. So 2 workers killed for each. That's what they're actually meant to say. And again, here you can see IdrA is aware of that expansion now. He can spot just the fringe of that. So he knows what's going on. And again, those Hellions still trying to do what they can. Didn't get any additional worker kills, but that's all right. Not a whole lot going on in the early stage of the game. Pretty much about even in terms of resources lost right now. So no one with a distinct advantage. We're just seeing, you know, both players just setting up at the moment. They're setting up for their compositions. They're setting up for the next phase of the game, which is going to be that mid-game stage. Now the layer is up, but no tech yet. There we go, finally dropping that Spire. Let's take a look at where that is. There it is. So Spire finally getting placed down. Also come down with a Baneling Nest. So yes, it will in fact be the bread and butter Speedling Baneling Muta to deal with the Marine tank that we'll be seeing here from Roots Kitty. And Kitty, again, will be going along that path. Stimpack Research, Siege Tech coming out. Starport's going to allow him to get up some Medivacs, also maybe a Viking or 2 to do some Overlord hunting. Now a 3rd base coming out here for IdrA. Dropping his next expansion over here in the upper left-hand corner of the map. Probably the next easiest place for him to defend is that position. This one's kind of a little bit out of the way, a little off the beaten path for him to actually go to defend. And this one's also a little further away from his opponent. Here comes the push, though. Marine Tank with Siege Tech and Stimpack are going to be finished here for this engagement. Now this particular map, getting nice siege positions can be really, really devastating. You can see all the choke points on this map make the splash damage from those tanks very effective, and Root Kitty is going to try to take advantage of that as he creeps his way forward, dropping a scan, taking out some creep tumors. He's also going to be spotting all those Banelings. Needs to make sure he's defended against that. Repositioning of the tanks. Look how safe this tank is and how much damage that he can do right now. It's just unreal. And again, siege tanks on these particular choke points is so effective. One Marine poking forward, trying to bait some Speedlings and Zerglings. We will be seeing some creep spread here from IdrA as he wants to make sure he can get us around if necessary, and actually pushing back at the moment as Kitty's worried about getting overwhelmed by the Speedlings and Banelings, deciding to pull back here, group up his forces, and wait for another time to push forward and engage. Again, that is a relatively small force, and IdrA was just about at the point to be able to overwhelm that, especially now that his Mutas have just popped. IdrA over here with a macro hatch, so he'll have 4 hatcheries worth of larvae to be producing out. We've got a lot more Mutas coming out. He's already got 10 in play with 2 more in production. Also centrifugal hooks coming out for those Banelings. And again, Kitty's going to be sticking with that bread and butter force here for the Terran player, which is going to be that Marine tank here in this TVZ matchup. Finally coming out that combat shield, also the level 1 infantry weapons upgrades. Mutas are now starting to dance across the map. Now, is Kitty prepared? He's got 1 turret there in the resource line. Nothing in his main, though. We'll be coming out with another turret, and actually IdrA has enough forces. Getting the tanks away from the Marines and managed to drop 1 tank, taking out the Medivac as well. Very, very nice there for IdrA. Caught those tanks in the perfect time as the Marines were pushing out across the map. That could not have gone better there for IdrA. Just a little bit of free damage. 1 Marine over here just kind of chilling out. We got another Marine over here. Got a couple free shots there. Almost taking out that 1 Muta. That would have been hilarious. I don't understand how these 2 Marines are still alive right now. Seriously, how are these 2 Marines still alive right now? Those are the most bold Marines I have ever seen. I must be frank with you, my friends. Some more missile turrets coming out as Kitty is aware now of the Muta numbers. He saw at least 10 plus. Again, 2 more coming out. Already 17 in play. It's really working up those forces. Kitty now moving out across the map. We'll need a couple more Medivacs here because those Marines are already softened up. Stimming up just a couple of them. Take notes, my friends, my Terran players. You don't have to stim up your entire Marine force if you see a few Mutas. Just take a small group. That way, once the big battle does come, you're not completely helpless. And the Muta number so strong, able to quickly snipe down that tank before the Marines could push forward to protect it. Very unfortunate there for Kitty as he got a little too aggressive with his tank placement, trying to go too far forward without the protection of those Marines. Got a couple Marines as a buffer up front. And IdrA just kind of dancing around this engagement. He is waiting until he has to engage. One big thing he's doing with his mutas right now is trying to contain this force and stop it from pushing out any further. And forcing those Marines to clump up is going to be good too, because then all of a sudden he's just going to roll in with his Speedlings and Banelings. The Marines want to spread out to avoid the Speedling Baneling fire, but they want to clump up so they don't get picked off by mutas. It's a conundrum, and here we go. Speedlings, Banelings, and mutas pushing forward. Mutas going straight for those tanks. Speedlings and Banelings taking out all the Marines, and see ya later. Root Kitty just lost pretty much everything. Look at that big discrepancy right now in terms of resources lost. Oh, that is a very unfortunate situation. There any drops or anything going on? No, Kitty doesn't have anything going on in response. And IdrA is now moving out with those mutant numbers. That was a big win there for IdrA. That engagement alone could have just won him the game. I'm not sure what Kitty's going to have, and I still got a few Marines to defend the home base there from those Mutalisks. And looks like he'll be okay for a moment. We're going to be losing a depot there, though, as the mutas continue to dance around. Now we're going to be seeing an attempted expansion here for Kitty as he tries to move into his third base. Moving out with a few Marines to try to defend that against muta harass. Tanks here, but very vulnerable because those mutas could pick those off. That's not enough Marines to deter them. And here you go, mutas moving forward. Don't want to engage that many Marines. Picking off the medevac before they pull back. And he should be aware of the fact that there's that expansion coming down. I'm not sure if he actually spotted that or not. I think he might have caught that, but checking those Marines over in that position is kind of a giveaway that something's going on over there. So he should probably be checking for an expansion at some point in the future. One Marine pushing forward to get some scouting intel. Let's see what he sees. Not a whole lot. Muta numbers getting stronger and stronger. We're now 29. And now all of a sudden these small groups of Marines are not a problem for those mutas, whereas in the early stages they really are. And so this allows that muta harass to be much, much more effective. Also with 29 mutas, he can quickly pick off turrets and continue to push. And that's exactly what he's going to be doing. Going for the first turret, second turret. Glaive now hitting those SCVs, killing off a few of them. Taking a look here, 16 workers killed so far. Continue to dance around, but 3 turrets is enough of a deterrent to push him back here. We've got a 4th base out for IdrA. IdrA also working up into Infestation Pit. Also, the Carp is level 1 upgrades are coming out there for those ground units. He's already got the melee level 1 upgrades done. So once he's got that 1-1 upgrade, and actually the level 2 melee upgrade also coming on through. Working his way up to Hive Tech as well. Here comes the push, though. We'll be moving forward. Needs to be careful for that siege line. And going to be engaging fully now. Moving down with all the Speedlings and Banelings. Mutas need to go for the tanks. Looks like the Speedlings is going to take care of most of it. And Kitty calling the GG. All right, my friends. That was game number 1 here between Kitty and IdrA. We'll be moving on to game 2 in just a moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.